primarily work with accountants and bookkeepers and business advisors, and I help them to implement our technology. And what that does is allows them to offer more frequent and more engaging management reports to their clients. So you would have heard the term business advisory or offering advisory services. And a fairly common question that we get is, what does that actually look like? A lot of accountants that I speak with are already doing advisory. What practically does that actually look like? And it could look like using something like Fathom to start facilitating those conversations around business value, business growth, and providing those insights around things like KPIs or profitability or cash flow, and basically facilitating that conversation between you and your clients. So that's what I do here at Fathom. I also work with franchise groups, helping them implement our reporting software as well. To give you a bit of an overview of how I was planning to run things today, as I said, a bit of background on who we are and what we do, a bit of a product spotlight highlighting some key features and functionality, and then going to give you some next steps there as well on where to find some more info. So we're offering an extended trial to those who are attending the webinar or watching the webinar today. We've got a bit of an offer code going, and if you would like to know more, definitely take time to reach out to us, and we'd love to speak with you further. Awesome. So give you a bit of background on Fathom as a company. We were established in 2010 in Brisbane, and we've now got offices all around the world. Our main office is obviously here in Australia in Brisbane, also in the US and the UK, and all of our development is done in Brisbane. So we have a team of about 35 folks here, consisting of design, development, and a few key sort of sales and guys in the partnerships team as well. So we're working with over 10,000 organisations, and that includes accounting firms ranging from small 1 to 2 partner firms up to big 4 firms as well. So there's a whole range and gamut of firms, sizes that we work with, and industries and different verticals that we work with as well. We also work with, as I mentioned before, franchise groups, multi-entity organisations, not-for-profits as well. So Fathom as a tool is fairly horizontal, but we were designed for accountants, as a tool for accountants and advisors to help with reporting for their clients. And just to give you a bit of background then on how Fathom came to be, the founders of Fathom were working at a mid-tier firm, and they were finding that they were wanting to offer more frequent reporting to their clients in sort of that business advisory capacity. And they weren't able to do that simply because of the time cost involved with generating these reports. So the way that they were doing it was exporting data out of desktop systems at the time, manipulating that data in Excel, and then delivering that to a client. And the downside there is that the Excel sheets were prone to breaking. You've got links and macros and complex workbooks that, and it wasn't a particularly scalable process. So I developed a solution, Fathom, and since then we've been iterating and improving on the product. We actually have a major release this week that I'm keen to give you a bit of a sneak peek at as well. So I hope that gives you a bit of background as to what we do. We also integrate with key solutions. So we're integrating directly with Xero, MYOB, both the cloud and desktop versions of MYOB, and also QuickBooks as well, QuickBooks Online. So really what our mission is to help accountants and advisors streamline their advisory and reporting workflows. And that may sound like a bit of jargon, but practically what we're doing is helping to take the time involved out of creating frequent and engaging and beautiful looking management reports to your clients. And whether you're an accounting firm who's offering monthly, quarterly, annual reports to your clients, whether it's just financial statements, perhaps compared with budget or the prior year, or perhaps whether you're doing something more in-depth like KPI tracking or cash flow measurement or profitability analysis or benchmarking, so comparing clients that are in similar industries with each other, we can help to streamline a lot of those processes. And the way that we do that is by directly integrating with those source accounting systems that I mentioned earlier and extracting all that data out automatically and then transforming it into insightful visual reports and dashboards. So I thought I'd just pull a quick quote here out when I was designing this slide deck last night, just from the Xero Accounting Industry Report. And it talks about practices that are offering advisory services, reporting a higher overall revenue per client with lower compliance revenue. And the partners that they interviewed explained that there was a shift towards charging clients separately for advisory services instead of giving them away for free to justify higher compliance billing. So I'm hoping this is going to frame a bit of our discussion today around the value of providing these services to your clients And I certainly understand it's not something that that everyone is into. You know, if you're a tax and compliance focused firm and that's your thing, by all means go for it. But we speak with a lot of firms who are reaching out to us interested in moving down this advisory path, and hopefully today going to shed some light on how you could go down that path with Fathom. So with all the accounting firms that we've worked with over the years, thousands of firms, we've found that the challenge is delivering this service in a scalable and engaging way. As I was talking about earlier, the reason why we developed Fathom was really to solve that problem and take the time cost involved with delivering reporting out of the equation. So what we've built is a full set of workflows here, and it's what we call the next generation platform for leading advisory teams. We've got a full set of workflows that allow you to rebrand your templates and reports. So creating bespoke customizable templates, which you can then leverage automation and actually automate the creation of those templates using data from the source accounting system that's coming in often on a daily basis if it's a cloud-based file. It's then also scalable, so we're able to send reports out directly from Fathom. We can have engagement with our clients in the context of these reports. We can automatically track and measure all of our KPIs, all of our cash flow, our profitability as well. We can automatically do consolidations and benchmarking as well. Awesome. So quick quote in here from one of our partners over in the US, a firm based out of Seattle, System 6 Bookkeeping. Jeremy Allen says that Fathom is allowing their firm to deliver visual financial reporting to our clients in a way that they can understand. And this will make more sense when I jump into the application, but all of the tools within Fathom are designed in a way that it's quite visual and interactive in nature, and it's really helpful in explaining these financial concepts to clients who aren't financially literate. So strong use of graphs and visualizations and colorful charts in our reports to help to explain those concepts rather than just delivering a set of financials in P&L in Excel. We take that one step further and transform that data into insights that you can quickly action. So what I'm going to do now is just step into the product. And just to frame this for everyone today, I probably won't take the full hour up till 1:30. So if you do have any questions, please use the chat function or the Q&A function, or just chime in. More than happy to tailor this and tweak this presentation as we go if you've got any specific questions or requirements. So fantastic. So today I'm just going to focus on some 4 of the key areas of Fathom. That would be the analysis section, the reporting, the consolidation, and then the benchmarking as well. So just to give you a brief overview of what each of these different sections entail, the analysis section here is quite interactive. It's more of our dashboarding product. So it's very interactive in nature, great for pulling up on screen. You can share your dashboards with clients. The reporting section is where you can build and customize management reports and report templates. So a really powerful tool for being able to save templates, which you can then share across your client base, and then set up things like schedules to automate the creation of those reports. In regards to consolidation, we can automatically aggregate up to 300 entities in Fathom, and this is a huge time saver in itself. If you have got any clients that are requiring consolidation of multiple entities, whether it's multiple Xero files or MYOB files or whatever the case may be, excuse me, being able to consolidate that data automatically within Fathom is a huge time saver. And just a bit of anecdotally here, I was talking with a franchise group actually quite recently, and it was one CFO's job to effectively consolidate the financials of close to 100 different locations. And it was taking him hours per month, hours and hours to do these manual consolidation journals. And we plugged in Fathom, and we're able to do it in about 10 minutes. And what that means is we can automate the eliminations as well. So if your consolidation has any intercompany loans or management fees, we can automatically remove those from the analysis as well. And then in terms of benchmarking, what I'm referring to with benchmarking is actually an internal benchmark in Fathom. So we're seeing the industry going, and really what we believe is a large value add for your clients is being able to, when you're first engaging them, say, we actually work with several other clients in your space, and this is how you sit in relation to your peers for certain financial and non-financial KPIs. So effectively, you can plug that data in Fathom. You can then generate some scatterplot charts and some cool visualizations as to where those clients sit in relation to each other. Another application, like I mentioned, is the franchising sector. So if you do work with any franchise groups, being able to compare the performance of your different franchisees is really valuable. And also internally for your own firm reporting. If you work with clients in different industries, we can help to segment, sort, and benchmark and report on your clients for an internal purpose as well. So I hope that helps to frame just a little bit of what I'm going to show you today. So I'm going to switch over to the actual application now, and hopefully this is going to work for us today. Give me a shout if you can't see anything on the screen, but hopefully you should be able to see the Fathom application coming through there. And to give you some context as to what we're looking at, this is what we call the My Company screen. Oh, we've had a chat message come through. Looks all good. Fantastic. This is the My Company screen. So we can see all of our clients listed here. You can see we've got a benchmark group, some consolidated groups. I've got data feeding in from Xero, from MYOB, from QuickBooks, and also from Excel. So if your clients are using any systems, like ERP systems or industry-specific systems, we can integrate with that data as well. All you need is a multi-period profit and loss and balance sheet report or a TB. You can export that out of your system. You can bring that into Fathom fairly easily. So what I'm going to do now is actually just step through briefly, just integrating a Xero file with you. And the process is the same for QuickBooks and MYOB, but I really just want to show you how simple this is. Because a lot of people expect that the integrations are difficult, and it's asking me to two-factor, which is fine. So I'm just stepping through on screen now the integration with the Xero file. Basically, I've logged into Xero. I've chosen a company that I want to import into Fathom. I then allow access to that company, and I'm taken back to Fathom where I can select a date range. And you can bring in up to 15 years of historical data into Fathom to run all of your comparative reports. I can also include any budget data that I've got sitting in Xero as well. So I'm just going to bring in a year's worth of data today. And you'll notice I can also bring in my divisional information. So this would be your tracking categories and tracking category options from Xero, your jobs and categories from MYOB, or your classes in QuickBooks. And this helps you to basically drill down into the performance of the different divisions or departments in your clients' businesses there, and start to really plug some of those gaps that are in the core accounting systems in terms of reporting. So we're aware of certain gaps in Xero, for example, where they don't provide certain formats for reporting on departments and divisions. We can help to fill those gaps within Fathom. So those divisions, just to give you some background, they could be locations, they could be departments, sales, marketing, development, they could be different sections of the business as well, different locations, states, even product lines as well. So as a whole range of things that they could be, and you can bring that straight into Fathom. So once I click import, it will take a few seconds here, and it will securely extract all those financials out of Xero. And that was a real company that I just did there with actual data. And we've brought that into Fathom now. So what I'm going to do is just quickly run you through what the setup looks like. And I'm not going to spend too long on this at all, but really it's a 10 to 15 minute process that you go through. The core things that I want to highlight is that we can automatically update from cloud systems every day. So we're synchronizing constantly with those systems. If you make any changes within Xero, they will be reflected in Fathom automatically. There's no manual sync process. Except for desktop-based files. So for MYOB desktop, like your Enterprise, Premier Plus solutions, you've got to manually drag and drop the file into what we call a connector. That's the only work that you need to do. But with the cloud systems, it's very seamless. You can also import your budget and non-financial data into Fathom via Excel. So in terms of non-financial reporting, this is a little theme I just want to highlight today. We're seeing more and more accountants see the value of actually bringing in non-financial drivers into your financial reports as well. So it's all well and good to report on your P&L and balance sheet information and trend that, but what are the key non-financial drivers of our business, and what levers can we pull there to increase our profit or to reduce our cost of sales? Or can we bring those into formula KPIs and start to calculate things like revenue per employee, or revenue per customer, our customer acquisition cost, or new customers, or lost customers for the month. So these are items that you can bring into Fathom really quite easily. You can key the results in, or you can import those from Excel. So we've had a question here just regarding the recording. It will be available later. Can everyone else hear me coming through there? Nicole's just mentioned that she has no audio. Just wanting to make sure that everyone can hear me coming through there. If someone's able to just shout out on the chat. Yep, no problems. Great. Fantastic. And the recording, the recording will be available later. So just the second thing that I want to highlight in this setup here is the tagging process. So a lot of you will be familiar with the mapping process that you've gone through in other software solutions. What you can actually do is map your chart of accounts that are coming out of your source accounting system to a standard chart of accounts in Fathom. And the cool thing is that we actually do this automatically for you. So there's no manual mapping process involved. Obviously, you can make changes if you need. Typically, if you need to reclassify, dividends or adjustments or partner distributions or intercompany charges, these are some common things that you may want to change the classification for. You can simply do that using the drop-down menus here. So really simple process, but largely, as I mentioned, that is all automated. Awesome. So step 4 here, just to cover up on this briefly, is where you can create your own financial KPIs and non-financial KPIs as well. So you can see there's a whole range of metrics here that we calculate by default automatically for you to do with asset usage, profitability, cash flow, revenue, coverage, gearing. There's a whole range of metrics here, but we've also created some custom KPIs like average sales per transaction, average sales per customer, new and lost customers, number of employees, that type of thing that I was talking about earlier. So I'm going to hold it there on the setup. I hope that gives you an idea. It's just a really straightforward setup. It's a one-time setup. Obviously, you can jump back in and make changes to the KPIs that you're tracking at any point. But the final thing basically that you would do is set up some alerts. So for your key KPIs, set up some alert thresholds so that Fathom can automatically track and monitor some KPIs for this client. So for example, if our accounts receivable exceeds 50 days, then send me an alert. And you can start to see our downward trends as well for those KPIs. Can I just chime in? It might be worth just muting our microphones here. I can hear some things coming in the background that might find their way into the recording. So unless you want to be online, it might be a good idea to mute those mics. Fantastic. So I'm just going to step now into the analysis section for you and give you an idea of some of the outputs that you could be generating for your clients. So what you're seeing on screen is our Kpi Summary tool. And what this helps to do is show you a dashboard of all your KPIs and their result against target and their trend against the prior period. A really valuable thing here is being able to click on these KPIs and get a description of that metric and a description of how that's calculated and a trend of recent results as well. So it plays a really good role in actually educating your clients as to the value of these KPIs. A lot of accountants that come on board with Fathom would say, oh, my client would not understand any of these metrics that you're tracking, and these reports are too overwhelming. Well, it's a process of educating your clients around the value of tracking these metrics and what these mean, and the certain drivers that you can change to improve the KPIs as well. So as with all the KPIs, there's a description for all the metrics we have in there. You can add your own descriptions as well for your custom metrics, and you can roll that up for any monthly, month to date, or quarterly, quarter to date, or annual or year to date view as well. And we can do things like focusing on track KPIs or off-track KPIs, or compare against last month or the same month last year, as well as comparing against budget or target as well. So the second tool here, our Kpi Explorer, another really valuable tool for just seeing in a single view which of our KPIs have met target, which is the green there, and which of our KPIs have not met target. So I hope this is making sense now. Just the visual nature of our platform, it is quite interactive. You can start to sort by importance to see our lowest to critical importance KPIs and how we're performing, and just being able to quickly see in a single view how our business has performed for this month or this quarter or year. In my opinion, the next two tools are the most valuable, and I want to spend a little bit of time here today covering off on the value of these two analysis tools within Fathom. So the Profitability Tool, what you can see on screen, what it's showing here is actually demonstrating the break-even point in the business, and also the margin of safety between your actual revenue point and your break-even there. So we can see where our costs are sitting in relation to our revenue. We can see where our fixed costs are sitting as well. But as we move from period to period, we can see how that break-even point changes and how much room we have to play with there. And we can also see quickly our top 10 revenue and cost of sales accounts from our sources system there to see where the bulk of those costs are coming from. So really useful tool for being able to explain that break-even concept to your clients, being able to show visually how much margin of safety we have between our revenue and our break-even point. And this, in conjunction with the next tool, which is our cash flow analysis, is really helpful in answering that question, where is the cash gone in my business? So I'm sure you've all heard that question from your clients is, I've got nothing in the bank, where is the cash gone? This tool actually helps you to visualize the inflows and outflows of cash in your business over the last month, quarter, or year, and helps to explain that difference between profitability and cash as well. So green is cash flowing in and red is cash flowing out. You can see your cash from operating activities, where we might have invested for some future growth here, and then our free cash flow that we can pay back to our suppliers of capital in the form of dividends or distributions or whatnot. We can also see our net cash flow there and whether that's been used to increase our cash at bank or been used to reduce debt. So I hope that's clear in explaining what the tool's about, but really hoping to, as I said earlier, help you guys to educate your clients on these different concepts and hopefully trigger that light bulb moment with your clients and say, oh, that's where my cash has been going, or this is what this metric means. This is how these two things interplay together. And just anecdotally as well, the accountants that we work with several firms that actually niche in creatives as well. So if you're working with any creative people, the majority of small business owners, they don't have a great deal of financial literacy, but we work particularly well with creatives, whether it's graphic designers or marketing studios or that kind of thing. Anyone who would respond well to these visual sort of cues and visualizations, that's really where Fathom can be quite valuable. So I'm just going to touch briefly on the growth tool here. It's quite a conceptual tool that is either used quite widely in Fathom or it's not used at all. So quite often when you ask a business, how have they been growing, they'll tell you growth in staff of X number of staff or growth in revenue of X number of dollars. And those are valid measures of growth. But what this tool is doing is actually comparing two growth metrics against each other. So in this case, our EBIT, our earnings against before our interest and tax against our total operating investment. And what we're doing here is looking at a timeline. So from January last year to January this year. And each dot on this quadrant analysis is representing this company in a different point in time. And as the dots get bigger, that's more closer to the present. So, the largest dot is January 2018. And what this is doing is actually showing us a bit of a quadrant analysis here. And you can hover over these different quadrants to get a description of what they mean. But you can see this business has moved into areas of stress, where the operating assets in the business have increased. So we're investing more in the business, but the return has decreased. Before moving into areas of quality growth, where our operating assets have increased and also our return generated, our outputs have also increased. So it really helps to tell the story of a business. I've been speaking with firms recently who are working with a lot of financial fintech, or fintech is we call financial startups, small companies that are often looking to raise capital and have hyper growth and fast growth. This is a great tool to be able to show those financial institutions and say, hey, look, this is the company's growth path over the last 12 months. This is where we've invested. This is where we've seen return. And so quite a lot of the reports in Fathom are quite useful if you're working with clients that are looking to achieve funding or venture capital or anything of that nature as well. So I hope that gets the point across. If you'd like to know more about this tool, there's more I can talk about there, and definitely feel free to contact me afterwards. The next tool here is a trend tool. So helping to look at key trends within the business. You can build out your own trends using any KPI, anything from your chart of accounts or any summary item from your chart of accounts as well. So you can start to see the correlation between different metrics. And I like to show something like number of employees, a non-financial KPI, and trend that against our revenue. Hopefully you'd say they'd both be going up. And we can also trend things like our gross profit at the same time and narrow down on a specific financial year. We can scrub through the data or look at that across all time as well. I can also choose from some predefined trends like our working capital trend, for example, as well, and see how that's trended over time. So I think now is just a good time to highlight that the reporting in Fathom can be delivered in multiple ways. So you can share these dashboards with your clients online, or you can actually download these dashboards and reports directly to PDF. And the whole system is designed so that it can be white labeled. So you as the accountant or advisor can add your own logo and branding to these reports and really customize those, add your own commentary, and make them feel like your own. So Fathom as a tool is really just helping you guys to streamline this process so you're not having to build this out manually. But this little download button in the bottom left of my screen here, that will actually package this up as a PDF. And we'll see how we go with this. It's probably not going to let me open the PDF because I'll have to share another window. But if you bear with me, just 1 second. All right, I'm going to have to share this window with you. Just to give you an idea of what this looks like in PDF, you can see you can add your own branding and cover pages and whatnot as well, but we'll package that up in a nice looking PDF report there as a deliverable for you and your clients. So quite often the workflow that we see is accountants, inviting clients in for monthly, quarterly catch-ups, then printing out some of these key tools and charts and perhaps a management report that they're wanting to send home with their clients. So that gives you the flexibility to deliver those reports either way. Now, the Goal Seek tool here is something I'm really excited about. I love this tool personally. I think it's genius. So what it's helping to do is identify the sensitivity of key drivers in the business. So it's a progressive goal setting technique. And what I've done here is selected a key KPI. I've selected return on capital employed. But there's a number of other metrics we can select there, including GP margins, free cash flow and net cash flow. And that's currently sitting at 10.3% return on capital employed for this business. Now, if I want to boost that up to 15%, for example, I can click the Go button, and that will actually present to me a list of the key drivers that I can adjust in this client's business to achieve that goal. So bear with me, this will make sense in a minute, but what I can do is potentially increase our price by 0.5%. Maybe I can drive up some of our sales volume. I can find some efficiency gains and decrease our cost of sales and expenses. And maybe I can collect our accounts receivable days just a few days faster. And with all things being equal, that will actually achieve our goal of a return on capital of 15%. So what it's helping to do is identify that a number of marginal gains in the business can have quite a significant impact and towards those key metrics there. And boosting our return on capital from 10 to 15% for a monthly period, that's quite an achievement. So it's a great tool for being able to see which levers and which drivers I can adjust in my business to increase business performance there, and really helping to educate your clients as to the key drivers that are involved with business performance. I could also select something like net cash flow or free cash flow to go a bit more broad and have a play around with a whole range of different drivers. And I can even say, perhaps if my price decreased, by 5%, what would the impact of that be on our goal? I'd have to make some more drastic changes in other areas and adjust some other drivers as well. So I hope that makes sense. But again, I could download that as a PDF at the end of your advisory meeting, whether it's a monthly meeting or a quarterly catch-up. You can provide them with a strategy that you can then review next quarter. So you're sort of creating a recurring service for you there. Just the final tool in our analysis section here, we've got obviously our profit and loss and balance sheet reporting, as you'd expect. You can also compare against budget. We do a variance and common size analysis. You can compare against prior periods and see the trend over time of how we compare to the same month last year or the prior period. For any monthly, month to date, or quarter, or quarterly or quarter to date or annual period as well. And you can see that on a detailed, so line by line item level. You can see each of your GL lines there, or you can do that on a summary basis as well. So I hope that helps. I'm just going to talk around the reporting section, but if you guys do have any questions, feel free to enter those in the group chat, and I'll be happy to answer those now. But I'm just going to talk around, I guess, the difference between the analysis and the reporting section, which I'm about to show you now. So these tools in Fathom are something that we've had for a long time, and our product is well known for its visualizations and the interactivity and the tools that are in this analysis section here. And as I mentioned before, great if you're wanting to pull it up on screen or on an iPad or something similar to really drill into that data with your clients. But the biggest piece of feedback that we heard in terms of our reporting module was that clients aren't after large, 10, 15 page board reports. It's too overwhelming. So what we've developed is a system where you can start to craft and create your own customized and bespoke management reports for your clients, but then also leverage things like templates and schedules to effectively scale that process within your firm. So what I'm going to do now is just step back out into my company's page here and jump into this cafe client that I've got here. And hopefully some of you may work with cafes, and I've added some cool branding on the report here as well, so it should look a little bit funky. But what you're seeing on screen now is our report center. So you can see I've got some published and draft reports here. So our published reports are reports that our clients can create, or clients can view, sorry, so they can actually log in and view these published reports. You can send them a link to view those published reports. Draft reports are reports that we're collaborating on and still working on. And you can see down the left, we've got our custom and predefined templates. We provide you with a whole range of predefined templates when you first jump into Fathom, and they range from 1 to 2 page summary reports up to 15, 20 page board reports. And in our custom templates here, you can see that I've created a custom management report for our cafe client here. I've also got a franchisee performance report that I've shared with multiple clients, and I've got a monthly performance report that I've shared across our client base as well. But what I'm going to do now is just click on the create a report button and generate a report using my custom template there, so I can show you what that looks like. The process that we've designed in terms of editing the reports in Fathom is very much like a Google Docs for management reporting. It sounds a bit silly, but that's what we call it internally. All the changes are being saved automatically to the cloud. You don't have to manually save your reports. It's collaborative, so you can have multiple people working on it. It's all customizable, including all the branding. So as you can see, I can add my nice coffee there, our banner images there. I can customize the aesthetics of the report. I can add my own logo or my client's logo, depending on how I want that to appear. I could simply use a color fill if I like. So I've got a fair bit of flexibility over how I want to present these reports, and I can customize both the online and the printed version of these reports as well. We've got a nice forest background here, but you can upload your own bespoke and custom cover page. You can change how that's presented. So whenever you're designing the reports in Fathom Online, it's simultaneously creating it in PDF, is the point that I'm trying to get across there. So as I scroll through this report today, I'm just going to highlight a few different things. The first one being the commentary. So we realize that you guys are often adding notes and commentary to your management reports that you're sending out to clients. So we've given you the flexibility to customize all of that commentary in Fathom. So if you wanted to edit any text, you can simply jump in and edit that text in the context of your report. You can change the layouts, you can change the sizing, and you can do some cool things like add placeholders. So if I wanted to add a new sentence talking about revenue growth for the month, instead of having to pull up a separate report that referenced revenue growth, I can actually use what we call a placeholder to automatically import that variable. So I can hit the @ key, and then I can choose revenue growth, which is a KPI that we're tracking in Fathom, obviously, and bring that in as a result into our text. And if you think about the implication of this when you're sharing reports with clients, between clients, or using the same template next month, all of our placeholders and observations will actually automatically update with that new data coming in from zero. So hopefully that gives you an idea as to the efficiencies that we can help with there. So these observations are also based off conditional statements. So I'll take the revenue, for example. If revenue for this month is greater than revenue last month, or revenue budget, then write this comment, positive comment, or if not, then write this negative comment. So you can start to, again, automate the commentary that's being included in your management reports to clients. As I scroll down this report, you'll be able to see some familiar tools that I've brought over from the analysis section. You can certainly include those in your reports. And you can also include a whole range of custom charts as well. So what I've also done, and I'm going to touch on this just in the benchmarking in a bit later, but I've included this benchmarking chart in our report. Just keep that in mind for something I'm going to touch on later. In regards to the charting, these are all fully customizable. So if I wanted to customize this chart that's looking at revenue and total expenses, and perhaps I want to trend something completely different like our free cash against our GP, I can easily do that by clicking on the series and selecting our new metrics here that I want to trend. So you can see that those have updated. Perhaps I want to change the colors as well, because purple and red is a terrible color scheme. I can do that. I can actually use our hex codes as well. If you've got your own firm color palette or branding that you want to add, you can do that. I can change the way that our charts are displayed, whether I want a bar chart, a line graph, or an area chart. Perhaps I just want to look at the current financial year. And we've also had a great question come in just regarding the projected values here. If I click the 3 buttons here, I can click advanced settings and I can show a projection using our target or using a 12-month rolling average. to answer your question, Rafaela, you can actually import those forecasts within Fathom. We don't have a three-way cash flow forecasting module at the moment, but it's something we are building in the near future. So stay tuned for that one. At the moment, you can do your forward projections using budgets and targets and rolling averages. Fantastic. So I hope that gives you an idea as to the flexibility and the customization that you can achieve within Fathom. And just to highlight the breadth of charts that you can add to your reports, we have over 90 charts that you can add. You can see all the categories down the right here on my screen. These are all charts that you can add in to your report, whether they're pie graphs, line graphs, bar charts, key numbers is what we call, certain call outs on KPIs. So there's a whole range of things you can add there, which you can then further customize. But don't be overwhelmed. We do have a facility where you can actually add layouts. And layouts are helpful in just adding a page of charts to your report. So perhaps you want to look at profitability, for example, and I want to add 3 profitability charts to our report. You can click that button and Fathom will automatically create that page for you, which you can then further tweak and customize to suit your needs. So don't be overwhelmed at the amount of content in there. As I mentioned, we provide you with a whole range of predefined reports and layouts that you can use to get started. And that's the same with our tables and financials as well. We provide you with a whole range of formats there for your financials, both your financial statements and also looking at financial trends and snippets as well. If we wanted to focus in on our cost of sales or our expenses in more detail, for example. So just scrolling through the rest of this report, I hope that gives you a bit of an idea as to what the experience of editing the online reports looks like. I can delete pages quickly that aren't relevant just by hovering over the page title and clicking delete. As I mentioned before, you can customize your financial statements, so customizing the columns and the rows. I can add columns, so I can include prior period comparisons or budget comparisons or variance analysis as well. So a lot of flexibility there, and then choose whether to show that in summary or detailed form. And just to give you a bit of a hint as to the new features that we have coming in the next 2 weeks, we've got the ability to create custom groupings coming in your accounts as well. So whether that's creating a summarized hierarchy for summarizing certain expense groups or revenue groups, certain line items together, you'll be able to do that really easily within Fathom. So similar to a Xero layouts experience if you've used that within Xero, but being able to trend and compare on those different categories will be quite powerful. So now I just want to speak about how you would deliver these reports to your clients. What I've showed you is great, but the question we get is, how do I actually price this service? How do I deliver it to my clients? You know, my clients aren't interested in advisory. I don't have clients that would suit this platform. Well, as I've shown you, you can customize and tweak this to the nth degree. So you can tweak this to only include non-financial metrics if you like, and really distill down those KPIs that you're measuring for each of your clients. And in terms of delivering those reports, that's really up to you as to how you want to structure that. We have firms that are simply offering Fathom as a value add to clients that are on fixed fee packages. We've also got firms that are using Fathom as a bit of an upsell and saying, hey, we're happy to provide you with your bookkeeping and regular work, but if you pay us X amount of dollars per month, we can provide you with some insightful management reports and some business advice around these reports as well. And in terms of how you want to deliver those reports to your clients, we give you a fair amount of flexibility over that as well. So when I go to publish this report, I can actually send an invitation and notification email to my clients that would allow them to log in and view that report online within Fathom and comment on the report as well. Or as I mentioned before, I can download the report to PDF. And I'm just going to quickly show you this just in 10 seconds here. And again, I'm going to have to share a different window with you, but I just want to give you a bit of an idea of what that looks like. So if I've created I downloaded one of our reports here, you can see all of our text and commentary and charts have all transitioned nicely onto PDF, and they do print beautifully as well. So definitely flexibility for you there. Awesome. So I hope that's given you a bit of an idea of the reporting section within Fathom. Just to step out now and give you a bit more of an overview of the overall workflow. Once you've set up your templates and your monthly, quarterly management reports, you can set up a schedule. And I've already got a few going for this client. But effectively what that means is you can come in and say, I want to create a draft report for this client using this template. And I want that to be generated 10 days after the month end, and notify me via email once that's been done. So that's really powerful and valuable for you guys, because you're not having to manually crunch those numbers in Excel every month. and Fathom's going away and doing that number crunching for you. And it's simply a review process, and you're spending more time engaging with your clients around the results in the reports and the insights that the report provides, rather than creating those reports, spending that time building and creating those reports manually and reinventing the wheel every time you need to reuse those reports. So I hope that communicates some of the value that we're providing there and some of the problems that we're solving. We also have the facility to create a whole range of Excel reports as well that will give you some more detail. Just to briefly touch on the benchmarking now, this is not something that's going to be relevant to everyone, but if you work with any franchise groups or you've got a client with multiple locations, multiple entities, the benchmarking and consolidation features are going to be really valuable for you. So I'm going to step in quickly now and show you what the outputs of that might look like. And what you can see on screen is what we call our compare tool. Each of these different dots is representing a company that's coming in from whether it's from Xero, from MYOB or QuickBooks. We can benchmark companies from multiple sources against each other. And what you can really start to do is slice this data in a meaningful way. So I can sort by result to see best performer to worst performer. I can sort by region to see how each of our different companies are comparing in the different regions that we service. If I'm an accountant, I can sort by industry to see which of my clients are best performing in different industries. And this is just purely looking at revenue, but I can select any KPI, any GL code as well, any account line, or any custom metric that I've created as well. So I can look at our gross profit, for example, and see where our clients are sitting there across the board. I can also highlight certain companies as well and show their names and eliminate outliers and that sort of thing too. So I hope this gives you a bit of an idea as to the application. You can start to sort by location or by number of employees or turnover as well. It's all custom. So the value here for any of those franchise groups or multi-entity groups or anyone that needs sort of horizontal comparisons is invaluable. And you can actually anonymize the names of the other companies here as well. So like I mentioned previously, if you're working with several clients, brewery clients, for example, and you're bringing on a new brewery, you can plug their data into Fathom and say, look, we work with several clients in your space already. Here are the key metrics that are relevant to your industry, and this is how you compare based on those metrics. So really starting to become a thought leader in that space and using Fathom to really leverage that data that you've got within the accounting file. One more thing just to highlight from a firm value point of view is being able to automate your alert tracking across your whole client base. So you can see all of our clients down the left here and all of our KPIs across the top. You can start to see that, for example, if we look at our AR days for this particular client, that's blown out to 123 days, and that's greater than our alert level of 60. So we can see there that something's going wrong. I need to address that with my client and see if I can improve some cash management strategies there. So let's click on that KPI and get some more detail on how that trended metric's gone, so we can see exactly how that has exactly how that's transpired and then how it's comparing to its peers as well. Awesome. So I hope that gives you a bit of an overview of our product and what we do and how we do it. Just to explain the way that our pricing model works as well, we charge on a per client basis. So we don't charge you based on the amount of users you have in your account, simply on the amount of company files that you've got imported. And the value of that is you can really start to scale these processes from a small number up to a large number. So we have plans that suit 1 to 3 companies, and it jumps to 5, 10 to 25. But we have many partners who are, up 25, 50. We actually have several partners that are using Fathom with thousands of clients in the one environment. So we've got that flexibility for you to be able to scale up this service in your firm. We're here to hold your hand along the way and help you to best leverage this software. We realize that it might be a fit for some clients and won't be a fit for other clients. So you've got the flexibility to add that data in and remove it as you need. And you can also invite in your colleagues and clients to access your main Fathom portal. And as I mentioned, it can be fully white labeled with all your own logos and branding and whatnot as well. Fantastic. So I think that just about does me in terms of the product demo here. Just going to recap quickly why you might choose to use Fathom if you're looking at going down this path. It's a seamless integration with key solutions like Xero, QuickBooks, and MYOB. We've got unique visualizations. It's really flexible. The reporting, it's quite customizable, easy consolidations, and automatic benchmarking. So if you do want to talk to us further, I'd welcome you to sign up for a trial. We do have a fully featured trial, or get in touch with us in inquiries. And I'd also like to share my email address as well. If you do have any questions, I'll share that in the chat function here. Feel free to send me an email directly. I'd be more than happy to talk with you. As I said, I work in partnerships here, so more than happy to talk further. And I think we've got some additional time, so hoping to open it up for any questions as well. But otherwise, thanks so much for your time. Really do appreciate your time over lunch today, everyone.
Thank you, Ethan. It looks like a fabulous product. I'm really interested. I can see you've put your email up on there. Just going to jot that down. Everybody can see the email in the group chat, I hope.
I'll also just pull up the slide here that I had at the start. My email address should be on the slide there as well. So if you do want to chuck me a follow on Twitter, if you're on Twitter, you're welcome to do that. I try and stay active on there, or send me an email. More than happy to talk further with you.
Fantastic. And is there a website? What is the website address for Fathom? It's just, is there one?
Yeah, fathomhq.com is our website. And I can pull that up on screen now for you, just on the slide we were on before. So yeah, fathomhq.com/sign-up is where you can sign up for a trial. We've got webinars and videos and a lot of content on there to run you through the platform. We've got some testimonials and case studies and things on our blog as well. So if you're interested to see how we've been able to help accounting firms scale their business advisory offering in their firm, then definitely check those out.
Fantastic. Just a quick question, if you wouldn't mind, Ethan. Support. What kind of support do you offer with the product?
That's a great question. And we're actually really well known for our support here at Fathom. We believe that it's a core part of our business. And we don't just deliver the software, we help you to implement it as well. So all of our support team is actually based in Brisbane. And we have a live chat function, we have an email support, we have phone support. We do webinars like this quite frequently. I spend half my life on Zoom calls doing webinars. So quite often stepping through the product with different firms, helping them to get the most value out of it. So in terms of post-sale support, if you will, we have a really high standard of that, and we'll get back to you within a couple of hours generally if you do send in an inquiry.
That's fantastic. Thanks for that. Does anyone else have any questions? Feel free to unmute yourself if talking's easier, or again, use the group chat function. But while Ethan's here and it's fresh, I suggest hitting him with any questions. How's that burrito sounding, Ethan?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm heading down to Sydney this afternoon actually for another conference. So looking to grab a quick bite to eat and then head off on the plane.
Oh, busy.
But, yeah, it's a busy life. But just to shout out one more thing as well, we do attend a lot of events. We do attend a lot of industry events, and if you do see us, definitely come up and say hello. Our product is constantly changing. As I mentioned before, we've got a major release this week. So what I've shown you now, we might have added functionality in a month or so, and we're constantly evolving. So definitely come up and see us there. A few questions have come in. Someone's messaged in saying they're a private company, not an accounting firm. Is the product suitable? Certainly. So we, as I mentioned at the start of the webinar, we're quite a horizontal solution. So we work not only with accounting firms, but also with franchise groups, not-for-profits, small businesses that sign up to Fathom independently from their accountants. So I guess initially when we were developed, we were hyper-focused on the accounting vertical, but we've realized that a lot of businesses are savvy enough to set up Fathom and integrate the data themselves. So many businesses using Fathom independently from their accountant as well, to answer your question there. And Tammy, we're undecided as to whether we're coming to My Partner Connect this year. I'll have to confirm that with the team, but I think I will actually be away at that time, so I won't be there personally, but keep an eye out for the Fathom booth and definitely come over and say hello if you are at Partner Connect in Melbourne. And a few more questions have come through. I believe there is a recording available of the full presentation. I think that will be up on your website. Is that correct?
That's correct. We'll put it up on the AAT website, so keep an eye out for that. Yep.
Great. And there's another question that's come through from Nicole there. The product actually integrates with not only Xero, but MYOB and QuickBooks as well. And not just the cloud versions of MYOB, it's also the desktop versions, so Premier, Enterprise, Plus, any of those not going to call them legacy systems, desktop systems that your clients might be using, we can directly talk to those systems as well, not just Xero. And you can also bring in data from Excel. All you need is just a multi-period profit and loss and balance sheet.
Sounds fantastic. It's a very flexible product.
Yeah, thanks.
Any other questions about Fathom? Well, as Ethan has mentioned, he's left his email address there, so I hope you've all jotted that down. Yes, I think sounds like everybody's winding up. If you don't have any other questions, I'll start closing down the chat. Yeah, I don't want to cut anyone off.
That's okay. What I might do, I'll pop my email address back on, and if anyone does have questions, just feel free to give us a call here or send me an email. More than happy to talk further. And otherwise, just again, thanks everyone for your time. I really appreciate your time over lunch, and it's been great to show you a bit about what we do, but there's also a whole range of things that I didn't cover off on in detail as well. So definitely reach out if you want to learn more. We run webinars every Wednesday over lunch. So, and that will give you sort of a similar overview of what I did today, but dive into more detail on certain topics as well.
So sorry, Ethan, how do we find these webinars? Are they online on the website?
They're on our website, yeah. So if you jump onto our website, I'll just pull it up on screen for you now. It's fathomhq.com/webinars is the link. And you can watch a pre-recorded one there, or you can watch a live webinar, as I said, to 12 p.m. AEST. We've also got a whole range of videos there, and you've got pricing and features on our website as well, and that blog too. So I'd encourage you to go and check that out if you do want to learn more.
Well, thanks very much for your time, everybody. Appreciate you joining us today. I hope you get a chance to play around with Fathom and find that it's applicable to your practice. I personally I get excited when I see products like this and think of how they can be applied. So I appreciate your time, Ethan, telling us all about Fathom.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime. So, okay, I'll close the chat down now. I hope you all have a great afternoon. And Ethan, if you've got a Brisbane-based office, you don't have a public holiday tomorrow, do you? No?
No. Well, I'll actually be in Sydney tomorrow, so I'm not sure whether there's a public holiday down there.
I'm on the Gold Coast, so here we've got the Gold Coast show, and it's tomorrow. And I just thought you might have as well, but realised, Eka, you would have had yours already. Anyway,
yes,
I digress. Yes. And we'll let you get to that burrito. Thanks again for your time, everybody, and hope to see you all again. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.